It's the Mix 101.5 Radiothon for Duke Children's.
Back to Kyle, Brian, and Sarah from Mix Mornings.
All right, welcome back to the 31st annual Mix 101.5 Radiothon for Duke Children's. Coming up very shortly, we're going to talk to one of our incredible families. They're joining Radiothon for the first time ever, and this young man named Kix, he is a celebrity in the medical world. You hush up, commercial. This is Kix's moment,
That's
not
right.
yours to advertise whatever you're advertising. This is Kix's moment and the Soderblooms moment. We'll get to them in just a second. Right now, we'd love for you to call 919-684-1015. That's 919-684-1015. That's the phone bank. They'll help you through the donation process. You can also text Duke Kids, one word, Duke Kids, to 398-34984. Come on, Brian.
34984.
Thank you, Sarah. I'm going to do that one more time. Duke Kids to what number, Sarah?
34984.
Thank you. Let's turn our attention to the Soderbloom family.
Hi, Soderblum family.
Hello,
it's okay.
Guys.
We can see the top of Kix's head. There he is.
What's happening? We have Lorna with us and Zach with us and the man of the hour. He's 3 years old. His name is Kix, and he is the second ever recipient of a partial heart transplant, a humongous achievement in the medical world, pioneered at Duke Children's, made possible by your donations to the Radiothon. Thank you very much. By the way, right now we have 4 donations, and we're still looking for 8 more by the end of the hour, but let's turn our attention directly to the Soderbloom family. Good morning. Let's jump right into your story, Lorna. How did you end up at Duke Children's, and how old was Kix?
Well, we were living in Greenville, North Carolina at the time, and he was at the time around 18 weeks. We found out something was wrong, so they had told us, like, we can't do any heart procedures here in the ECU area, so we're going to have to tell you, like, you're going to have to go to Duke. And at first I was like, whoa, like, I have to, go to another hospital. But, I mean, thankfully it was an hour and a half drive. It could have been 10 times worse. But once we knew that, I definitely felt like more secure in that, I guess, just knowing like how amazing Duke was. I had just read a newspaper article about Owen, the first partial heart transplant kid, and I was like, I want that surgeon. Once we found out he had a heart condition. Yeah, I do. And from there, I was just like, everything lined up beautifully at Duke, so we were thankful.
And we've been hearing that, a lot today that, once you get to Duke, things do tend to line up. 919-684-1015. Text Duke Kids to 34984 as Brian makes paper faces for Kix to keep him occupied on the camera.
I'm a terrible drawer. Look how terrifying this thing is.
So
I'm so sorry, Kix, for the nightmares.
Okay, great.
That's okay.
Zach, so you are also in the medical field. You guys can't see him, but he's in scrubs at the moment, and you clearly came off some kind of a medical floor right now to be in this interview. What is it about Duke Children's that makes it so special, and why should people donate to this organization?
Well, I mean, there's many things. It's hard to sum it all up in one interview, but from the moment we found out that Kix was going to have a surgery there, be delivered there, and be taken care of there for months in excellent care, I might add. It was only God in our view that led us there, for us to be living so close to that hospital in comparison to where we could have been, for this to be the second only ever to be done on our child. It just it's a crazy testimony for us. But Duke, they there was a lot of emotions. We were happy, scared, excited, exhausted. I mean, they did so. They made the process a lot easier than I think it could have been for something that felt so foreign of a procedure to happen to our son at the time.
What was it about Duke, though? This, like you said, this is the second time ever that this procedure was done. What was it about Duke that made you feel comfortable in saying, yes, go ahead, we'll be your second round at this surgery?
I guess it was the conversations we had with the doctors, the trust that we felt immediately when talking to them
Yeah.
about what they could do for our son. And I mean, it's almost like they promised that it was going to be okay, but they can't.
Right.
And at the time, they thought it was tetralogy of Fallot. So we had a whole different plan before he was born. And then as soon as he was born, it changed to truncus arteriosus. And that's when the whole partial heart transplant thing came about. And we had no idea, like, what we were going to choose. It was so new at the time. You're just like, oh, like, is this my life right now?
Yeah, I'm sure, because you were just trying to have a baby. Like you just got pregnant. No one expects to be able to pronounce these crazy words and be familiar with these crazy procedures when you're just trying to have a baby, And so,
Right.
Exactly.
we are lucky. And so donate now and keep this hospital healthy. 919-684-1015. Text Duke Kids to 34984. Go to our website, WRAL-FM.com.
I think one of the most exciting things that happens when you have a child is that moment when you get to take him home. I have a young son at home who's 9 months almost. I have a daughter who's 4. And being able to take your child home is just like this extraordinary life moment. I know for you two, it looked so much different because of what was going on with your little buddy Kix. Things happened, and he was inpatient for nearly the first 6 months of life. Lorna, for you, when you finally got to have that moment that you've been waiting for at this point now for nearly a year and a half yourself, with pregnancy 9 months in, then it's another nearly 6 months after that. For you, Lorna, what was that moment like when you could finally take your little boy home?
I bawled like a baby the entire way. I felt like I wasn't allowed to go home. I felt like it was too good to be true, and I was stuck there by myself for the 6 months because he was still in his grad school. And our oldest son lived with my parents, and so I just had felt so like trapped there, and then to leave with him in the state he was in, because he went home with a trach. So in my mind, I'm like, there's so much we have to do, but I'm gonna do it because we're going home, So that was amazing.
And they
What a relief.
transported him via ambulance
Yes.
in a space shuttle. It was this little locked-in thing that he had to be strapped in to get in the ambulance to ride home. It was kind of crazy.
Oh,
Yeah.
my
And
goodness.
Zach,
Cool.
for you, I know I asked your wife that question, but from the other perspective and angle, as not just the dad, but also as a husband, how proud did you feel of that moment to get your buddy home? But what was that moment like for you, also seeing that same type of joy that your wife had in that moment, being able to take your son home for the first time?
It was amazing. Honestly, just to know that we were going to have our family reunited was huge. With me being in grad school in Greenville, commuting back and forth every weekend essentially, and our other son living all the way back in Charlotte, just to have all of our family under the same roof and him to be in a condition that was well enough to be able to bring home and us manage him was. It's hard. It's a lot.
hard
At a loss for words
explain,
is the feeling that it made us feel.
Oh man, I'm sitting here trying to put myself in that position. I can't even begin to like put myself in your shoes. That is such a deep, overwhelming emotion that you
Absolutely.
had to have been just washed over with. It just makes me so happy that you got to experience that. And no doubt, Lorna, you mentioned how life wasn't what you expected. You expected this big, happy family, everybody at home, chilling out, enjoying, not worrying. And then all of a sudden, you got your husband in grad school. You're with your son who's in the hospital for 5.5 months. Your other son is living with your grandparents. It's like, and you said you felt trapped. It's like, where am I right now? And before I get to my question, let me remind you, you can still make donations right now as we have this conversation. Text Duke Kids to 34984. That's Duke Kids to 34984. Something, Lorna, we talk about all the time are the intangibles that make Duke children special. So while you're in this crazy moment in your life and you're like, which way is up and down and what day is it, what hour is it, what's going on? How did the professionals at Duke Children sort of ease that pain and that reality that you were living within?
Ugh, I mean, as soon as we had him, I just felt like he was in the best care, and
Oh,
just
jeez.
everyone it just rushed over us.
Yeah.
Everyone from like the heart transplant people to the people who coordinated us at the Ronald McDonald instantly for us to have somewhere to stay and have a home away from home. Just everything they lined up, and I felt like they took care of our family, which made them feel like our family.
Oh, yeah.
From the nurses to the doctors that came in, I would spend hours and hours. I lived there talking to the nurses and doctors and NPs, and they just were so relatable, and they always made you feel special. And that was my family at the time because my family was elsewhere. And so, like, I would spend sometimes an hour talking to my nurse because a lot of times they were one on one with him in the ICU. So I had the chance to be like, hey, can we just talk? And they would listen. And that was really incredible. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you become family whenever you go through Duke Children's, especially when you go through the PICU or the NICU. Like, these are big, huge moments, and Duke is not afraid to meet you there and support you and give you the best care. Thank you so much for taking the time today to talk with us and bring us the most wiggly little boy ever. You guys can't see him, but it's like
We're so thankful he's wiggly.
I know.
Yeah, no doubt.
He's had no less
amazing.
than 7 different objects in his hand during this interview.
He had a snack, a drink, and it's not even his snack. It's someone else's snack. that we stole.
Text Duke Kids to 34984. Call 919-684-1015. Let's make Duke give other families in scary situations like the Soderblooms a wonderful experience like they've had. Thanks again for your time, guys. Merry Christmas.
Merry
Thank
Christmas.
you.
Thank
Merry
y'all. Merry
Christmas.
Christmas.
See you later, guys.
All right, it's the 31st annual Mix 101.5 Radiothon for Duke Children's.
To 15-year-old Harper, buying an $80 vintage